Enjoy the show.
From the content creators that bring you the lowest effort content imaginable. You know, the ones that brought you info that devs don't want you to know about. The podcast you probably don't want your girlfriend to know about.
Who?
And will most likely get you banned just for talking about it. Raw, uncut, and uncensored.
We want you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Maybe try some mining or something. Remember not to undock anything you can't afford to lose.
Welcome to the Echoes of New Eden podcast. Let's start this bitch.
And welcome, everybody. Welcome to Echoes of New Eden podcast, here for another week. It is I, Rambo, and I am met with a full stack of staff today. We got Taylor bringing the juice. Rick, what's going on, Taylor?
How's it going? Yeah, we're about ready to go. It's go time. I haven't done this for a long time. A very long time.
Yeah,
so
Taylor's
I'm
a little
excited
rusty.
To be here. Yeah, I'm rusty, but I'm excited to be here. It'll be good. We got three main things I'm going to talk about, but I have no idea what the other three of you are going to talk about. So that's how it always goes, right?
I'm just going to wing it.
Yeah.
I'm just going to wing it.
I'm going to wing half of what I'm going to be talking about because I'm not as nerdy as all the other people who have sent me some of this information. So,
yeah. Well, continuing on with our introductions, I want to welcome Juby. He is with us as well for this week. So what's going on, Juby?
All right. Getting the
just like it's been for the last year that I almost forgot. Juby takes 3 hours to respond. Hey, Juby.
Yeah. Where's my damn sound effect that I had for the chainsaw? I had a chainsaw sound effect for him.
Oh my god, that was just brutal. That was so hard to listen to, you guys. And your AI chick, oh my god. Oh my god.
And actually here, and for the first time, he's blessing us with his presence in a very long time. Damon Zell is with us too. What's going on, Damon?
What's up, guys? What's up? I was kidnapped, put in a box, and said I have to be on the show.
Yeah, we kidnapped him because I was talking to the AI girlfriend last week. I told her that Damon was cheating on me. She's like, "Whoa." She's like, "I feel some tension there." But Damon, it's nice to see you. Nice to see you're still kicking and doing content and all that type of stuff. Nice talking with you as well. So welcome everybody to this week's episode, and we got some juicy stuff to go over with you guys. And I know Taylor, he's bringing the juice as he says, and we got the latest update, and it changed the splash screen. Thank God. I hated the last event. Oh my God, I hated it. It was just so dumb.
I didn't mind the chick, the anime chick with the big boobs. I didn't mind it. Everybody else seemed to suddenly be a snowflake and act as if they've never seen that before. We're like prudes or whatever. It's like all of a sudden everybody who plays Eve Echoes is part of the Mormon cult. I mean, it was just, it was so irritating. Right? So I'm glad it's gone, so I don't have to hear people bitch about it anymore, because it's not like 99.999% of Eve Echoes players aren't men who like big o titties, okay? Or as I call them here in the Midwest, tego bitties, all right? So... I mean, it's just annoying.
Imagine like triple D's on a 90-pound girl.
They can't get any smaller though, or they wouldn't look right, especially the neck.
Yeah, guys, can someone in the on-air chat throw up a screenshot of it, because I have not seen it.
Oh, you got to show Damon.
Yeah.
This. And by the way, while we're doing
Damon hasn't updated his game in like 3 months.
We have a special guest with us today to go over the first topic. And that special guest only has a little bit of time, so I'd like to get him on as quick as possible. Just FYI.
All right. This is news to me. Who is it?
Let's go.
Who are we getting on here?
He is in the on-air audience, and he's got his hand up. Daroz.
Do we
really only have 20 in the audience? What the hell has happened to this podcast? Did we ping for everybody? The show was starting?
Last Wednesday.
Well, yeah, I mean today.
Maybe not show starting, but
I'm doing it right now. Everyone, show is already live.
Get in here.
Where you at?
I bet it's the
So basically what you're saying is since I stopped showing up, your audience is it's only left you.
Well, I mean,
Diminished greatly.
you and I both, right? Because I mean, I haven't been here in months either. So.
Yeah, and I've been on the every other weekend schedule too, so it hasn't been.
Gojira, show fell off with no Taylor, no homo. That reminds me of what was that movie with where he's playing a rapper, Never Stop, Never Stopping or whatever it was. That's where that saying comes from, and he had that song that he played where he kept saying no homo about gay marriage. What was that movie?
Sure.
That's exactly what I thought of when I saw that, Gojira. I'm going to think about that, and it's going to come to me at some point. But anyway, let's keep going. Daroz, welcome to the show. Can we hear you?
Hi, can you hear me?
We can hear you fine. Yep.
Beauty.
So I want to set this up real quick before we just have Daroz go into it, because for those who are uninitiated, Daroz is a smart guy. He knows what he's talking about, but sometimes he can be really like dry, and he'll make some of you fall asleep. So let's set it up. Let's set it up real quick, though. Botting, right? So the botting issue that we have in this game isn't as bad as what it was at the beginning of the game. I think a lot of people forget that. People forget the initial first, at launch game botting wars. People forget watching
bot wars
videos or weren't even here when you could literally watch like 100 retrievers all at once, single file, warping into a belt, and as soon as they landed in a belt, even though it was full of rocks, warp to another one because the script was broken and it wouldn't like stop and make them. I mean, we saw this everywhere. So the botting was rampant all over the place. It's nowhere near at the level of what it was then. And now, of course, we have AI botting that's legal, and we have literally AI ratting and mining that are both legal. But we have an issue with cams, and where that brings us to this top, I think that's a bigger problem, or maybe not. I don't know. I think there's ways around all this stuff. So I don't look at it as like the huge, giant, massive problem that most people do. However, we have a little bit of a Cold War going on between the developers and the players in terms of making sure that these bots continue to run. And what we just saw this week was an effort by the devs, Cloud specifically, to try to eliminate some of this bot activity, if not all of it.
Yeah.
And that's why we have Daroz here to explain why what has just happened and what they did is actually a very bad idea. That's your setup, Daroz.
So we gotta kind of remember a few things about how we got here, I think, and that is all of the stuff that we're starting to see and growing and has been kind of on the sly for a lot of things for the last year or so is all because NetEase made it happen. And that might be an unpopular opinion. But if you think about it, the first things that started to happen when the game came out is people wanted information, right? People wanted to know, gee, who's got SOV? So we had people making SOV maps, right? And they'd have to go in the game, look at the map and update their map and then post it in Discord. And that was popular for a long time, and it got to be a pain in the ass because there's no way to automate it. And there's a lot of SOV, right? And you started getting things like probably the most innocuous piece of illicit information ever to come out of Eve Echoes. The PI list, a list of what every planet has for PI and how much you get an hour.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody loves this because everybody wants to know how they can min-max their PI. Everybody uses this, but it was totally illicit. Right? Very public. We could have gone to every system and typed in the data and done that. Or you go to the game data and do some magic, and there it is staring at you in the face, right? And even back in the days of PM Blue and Oxalus, right, there was a cry for, hey, we need an API. We want to get information out of the game, right? There's ways to, there's right ways and wrong ways, and this, and NetEase basically politely flipped the middle finger and said, hell no.
Right.
Right? There's no way for them to monetize it. Therefore, they're not interested in it, was the undertone.
Right.
Right.
And now they've monetized portions of the botting side. But yeah, keep going.
Right, exactly. So we've got this creation. And a lot of things come back down to, you guys remember John Carmack? He was the lead programmer at ID Software.
Oh yeah, no.
No, I didn't know that.
Okay, so John Carmack, lead programmer at ID Software, created Doom and Quake.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Right now you know, right?
Yep.
Okay.
I know who you're talking
yeah.
about. Yes.
Basically, the right first person shooters, the first ones with LANs, right? The ability to play on more than one computer. A whole ton of problems come up in that development. How do you keep it in sync? How do you know when someone got hit versus not hit? And he had a whole ton of stuff and solved an awful lot of problems and was a genesis for everything we do now in a lot of ways. But he had a famous saying in the day. It's the client is in the hands of the enemy. Okay. NetEase gives you the game client and says, here, use it. And there are a lot of different kinds of people that are going to use it. There's probably most of us here in the audience that just open it up and play it. Then there's those that like to peek behind the curtain. Okay.
Yeah.
And those that do have various reasons for it. There's a subset of botters and modders and hackers that are very black hat and are pretty much what I would call the assholes. I'm going to find a way to do this to fuck you over because I want to, haha, screw you. The only way to fix those guys is to ban them. Right? That's it. There's nothing ethical that you're going to have an argument with and win because they don't care. Then there's the subset that want to get in here on the white hat side of it to say, I want to get that PI data. I want to get that universe data. I want to get
Market transaction
manufacturing data.
Kill mill data.
Kill mill.
Right? And
Final
right,
blow.
kill mill data, right?
Final
Which
blow.
is the evolution, right?
Yep.
So your first bots are screen readers and keyboard injectors and button presser injectors.
Yep.
And that sort of thing. And those worked fairly well. That took a while for programmers to get around some stupid. Like you were saying, the first bots didn't realize there's still rocks left.
Right.
Right? But they got better with time. Now, the evolution of those bots has gone to really, literally AI. And I don't mean like NetEase fake AI, which is a whole bunch of nasty, nasty if statements looped together like a sixth grader would program. But no, I'm actually talking about they'll take a screen and send it to an AI bot and say, hey, do you see this? And the AI will come back and say, yes, I see that. It says this, it's doing this. And then parse that and make a decision. Right?
Yep.
And then go back and inject commands again. So a couple months back, NetEase announced what was, I think, the first big stupid, where they're going to put in CAPTCHAs if they see you doing automated things. And the CAPTCHAs are all client-side.
Interesting.
You could take that screen, send it to an AI bot and say, hey, I can't see this. Can you solve the CAPTCHA for me? And I think it was Google had published a while back that the AI bots are getting like a 95% success rate at this. So this is like, why? Why are we escalating this in this way? This makes no sense. Right?
It's a waste of time.
It's very much a waste of time. But what you're starting to see now is the next generation of bots. This is not the screen readers. This is not the, I see this on the screen, therefore I'm going to react to it, or I'm going to try to OCR it, or I'm going to try to do this. And you got a hint of this with Final Blow.
Yep.
Okay? Final Blow had a database of every kill mail that existed. He did not get screenshots of every kill mail that existed. Because, Taylor, you know this.
Yeah.
In Big, we kill someone, we send it up to Mario's echoes.mobi, and what's the tag it comes back with? B.
B instead of B, or sometimes B, sometimes B1G. Yeah, we got like
sometimes,
three
right?
Yeah, we get like 3
exactly.
tags, yeah.
Typos abound.
Yep.
Right, wrong ship was detected, right? Or it's that the retriever became a capsular outpost, or right? So you get these data errors that you'll get with OCR. Well, Final Blow had none of that.
Right.
And at this point, there's no secret sauce exposed here. This is just clearly, this is not the same data source, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, because
And
Final Blow was
there's
coming
two
inside
ways.
the game. We knew that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, we knew that.
Exactly.
Well,
So
people cried
so-
hardcore.
very much.
Who cares?
Right?
Who cares about him?
Exactly. But the technical methodology of which he executed that was one of two ways. Right? Either way, he was directly connecting to the back end systems of the game.
Oh, shit.
Right? There's no other way you get that data in that volume, at that speed, and that accuracy.
Right.
Right? And now this is the arms race. Right? This is the Cold War that you alluded to, is that this technology is not new. This stuff was proof of concept over 2 years ago. Right? Back when NetEase actually banned people. And I'm of the group that says I don't think NetEase is actually banning anybody of note, not in volume, not doing it. Because I look at the NetEase ban board that they still publish.
Yeah. It's not there.
But
there's nothing
I don't know
there.
if you've noticed, it hasn't been updated since October.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Not of last year, the year before.
So to
Right?
so to kind of get to the point of where we are, the point in the timeline anyway of where we are as of this week on Wednesday,
Yes.
and the point of this conversation, the kinds of things that are being implemented right now, while they might sound good on paper, I think it's fine that an alpha account shouldn't be able to see local and nullsec. That's just one way to push an alpha account into an omega account. What the hell's an alpha account going to really do in nullsec anyway, other than be a cam for somebody? So that part's fine,
Right.
but it does not solve the cam problem. In fact, it makes it worse because, as Daroz is saying, pushes them to what we're doing on what these advanced bots are doing, which NetEase
Right.
has no counter for.
Right. So here's a concrete example we can all know and understand. We're sitting on a gate, we're doing a gate camp, right? And somebody, and let's say for sake of argument, this person's not in a fleet because this is the one exception to the rule. Somebody warps into us. What do you see?
You see,
They go gray for a
Yeah,
second.
they're gray for just a second until you figure out who the system figures out who the hell they are.
Right. Exactly.
You can even
So the
kill them with
sequence
your
of events
BG.
behind the stack. Right. Exactly. So you show up on grid, client gets told by the server, hey, John Doe just showed up on grid. Client goes, hey, I need to know standings on this schmuck. And that takes a little bit of time. And then there's an answer, and then the client updates it to blue, and you're good to go. Right? Now, let's do the same thing, except for the guy jumps in the gate. Guy jumps in the gate, sits there, he decloaks. He never goes green. Never goes gray. Why doesn't he go gray? Well, it's because the game client already knew he was sitting there cloaked. The lookup to see whether he was friend or foe happened while he was cloaked.
Yep.
The game client already knew he was there. Which means all of these changes NetEase is doing, if you are using a custom game client, which is what these advanced bots are doing now, and are doing on a massive scale, I have seen a screenshot of 300 bots on one computer.
Jesus.
Well, not to mention that,
Damn.
because these are specialized, then you have to have kind of a
Yes.
new game client that lines up. These on I guess it was on Tuesday of this week before this patch went live.
Mhm.
3,000 new accounts were made in this game.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Is that
because
the
the other
screenshot
restriction,
OPSEC? Has anybody got that
it was
screenshot?
posted for about 5 minutes. A bunch of people saw it in a channel. It was deleted. It was kind of a
okay.
fuck you, NetEase. Here's what I'm doing, and then the guy
So
deleted
it
it.
was posted on the official Evecho's Discord.
No,
No.
it was posted on a private Discord.
There
Okay.
are
All right.
multiple Discords, and I only know of like a handful, but there are multiple Discords that people are using
Yes.
in this botting community, in this hacking community for the client side, to discuss and talk about and circumvent all these changes that are coming from NetEase. Basically, because it's our,
Right.
you know, they do all of this because obviously they're making money some way. It's the RMT, you know, dragon in the room, or 300-pound gorilla.
I
in the
mean,
room.
there is that subset, and I will give you that one. I also think there's a subset that wants to play Echoes the way Eve was meant to be played and the way that CCP had originally intended it. And that is, here's the sandbox, go play.
Yeah, but
Right?
it's not Eve Echoes and it's not Eve Frontier. If you want to go play a crypto game and have a sandbox where you can write scripting and do all this stuff legitimately, and then have to face
Right.
the RMT empire
But-
of whatever forms over there, go play Eve Frontier.
Right. So talk about the cams then, like for a second, right? Like
Yeah.
people are putting up cams fundamentally because one of two things. Either they want to be safe, i.e., I'm sitting in a belt in a Rorqual. My two options are get the fuck out or probably die.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all I got. Killing you is, if I kill you in a Rourke, you deserve the ridicule of that, but
Yeah.
that's beside the point.
Yeah.
Right? I want to be safe in that Rourke, or I want to find some schmuck who's stupid enough to come near me so I can go kill him.
Yeah,
Right.
It's either baiting or you're trying to get away. Sure.
Right, exactly. That's it. Which means people want to play the game. They want to play the game their way within the construct of the game. Well, if the game says you can have as many accounts as you want, and if the game says you can sit out here and has said for 4 years, you can sit out here and we'll tell you who's in local, then why would you not use the tools that NetEase has sanctioned as here's approved to put up cams? And whether that just be some guy who's playing on his iPad in a Rorqual and has an emulator up with 6 tunes running and just looks up and goes, oh, look, there's a fucker. And then goes and docks. The evolution of that is, okay, now I'll post it to Discord. I'll post it to the Intel channel. Then I'll post it to Discord. Now I'll do it automated. Now I can screenshot and OCR this. And because NetEase is 4 years late to this game, all of this has already happened. So you have people that are doing this. They're not breaking the rules. They're bending like Beckham, admittedly. But just putting up, 6 cams and sitting them on your own emulator and watching them is absolutely not against the EULA. Right?
No. You can have your own tunes that you're
Right.
using to watch whatever here and there, and now they're going to have to be alpha.
Exactly.
That
Right.
gets
But
to
now
another
what
part
we've
of
done
my
is we've
argument here,
escalated.
but we'll keep going.
Right. Right. But we've escalated this now. So now you have the haves and have-nots because NetEase has said finally after 4 years, oh, well, this is bad all of a sudden. So you can't do this. And they try to take it away. But they don't take it away from everybody because these bots, and this is the real kicker, the real advanced ones, they're using NetEase's own code against them.
Yep.
So
High
so
effort.
patch comes out Wednesday morning. They're down for, I don't know, it takes maybe 15 minutes to download the patch, pull the files out, do some magic. No, I'm not getting into details, and spin back up your bot and you're done. And you're just sitting there going, okay. They're fine, but the people who are trying to play by the rules get screwed. So you end up with this escalation problem. The more NetEase tries to do things that take away from wide swaths and they paint a wide brush, the more they push people into the unsavory. And this is something they don't seem to understand, is that there's 2 ways these people are going to go. 3, really. There's a subset they're just going to take it. Now, how many people are going to roll over and die that play a game like Eve? I'm not going to say that's a large percentage. Personal opinion. Then there's going to be the people that are going to be like, fine, screw it. I need to do something completely different, or I'm going to up my game because NetEase up their game, and they're going to start looking for this stuff. And some of them are going to find it. And then it's just a cat and mouse game. And it's a cat and mouse game that NetEase is poised to lose because it's their own tools being used against them. So I don't know what they're thinking.
Well, it gets worse than that. So I've got some data sitting in front of me from an anonymous source. This particular individual had actually put together a very detailed layout of exactly how these things were being done that Daroz just described, and even a layout of how they could block that even on the client side.
Uh-huh.
And NetEase has told them basically, no, we're not going to do that. We can't do that. Period. So I've got a shit. This won't open up on the iPad. You've got to be kidding me. I just did this the other day. I didn't check on the iPad. It's an HTML file. I'm going to pull it up and double check at the end of the show to make sure that there's nothing in there that this individual does not want leaked. But it is part of a conversation with Cloud about botting and his reactions to it. And then there's a separate subset of text that when I pulled it up, to me, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense because I'm not a coder. I'm really not a coder. I like to pretend like one on the podcast, but I'm not one. So I'll look over that one too and make sure I post that as well. Yeah, Mario, for sure. For sure, you'll get a copy in your DM, but of all of it before I scrub through it. But essentially, what it gets down to is, Cloud knows. Say what you want about Cloud. He's not an idiot, right? There are certain things that he knows that are going on. There are certain things he would like to do or fix. There are certain things he wish he just had full control over. But he's not the only developer of the game. He's just one of the guys working on the game for whoever the bean counters are above him that tell him what to do, right? So I'm not going to say any of this to say that Cloud is a bad guy, and he is. He's just one person. He can't do a whole lot, right? He can just do what he's told to do, and sometimes he can suggest things and push things along, and that's fine. But what I'm getting at is, well, I'm getting to it, Swee. I'm getting to it, which you remind me of a song, by the way. Is that what your name is from, Swee? Because now I'm totally off track. I'm like a squirrel today. But what I'm getting at is that some of these specific changes just fly in the face of common sense. So, and of course, it also flies in the face of what he says it's for versus what the intention will be. And that kind of gets into the second part of this if we're ready for it. But I don't know why this won't pull up. I'll have to double check it and then I'll paste it. And I want to make sure that individual is okay with that too. He said he was, but I don't. But that was only based off of me reading it on air. So I'll double check. But there's certain implications of an alpha account now suddenly not being able to see local, and part of that is good. We all think that's good, but the push to, and I guess that's the next question, right? We can look it up right now. Like, what's Omega done in so far this week? I don't think we've seen the implications of it yet. But those 3,000 accounts that Scott got spun up, they don't even need alpha.
Right. Not
and
at
they
all.
can still see all that data because they're getting it from the game client itself, not from the interface, right? So it circumvents all of that. So everything he wanted it to do.
Right. They just connect to the chat server, and the chat server says hi.
Exactly. So it has zero effect other than, in some cases, a push on those capsuleers to move from alpha to omega. And the only thing that will happen there over time is Plex will stay high, which, of course, is exactly what NetEase wants. I don't know if we've seen the ramifications of that yet or not. I can pull that up real quick and find out.
I took a look at the prices somewhat recently. They're floating around 9.5 last I looked,
so they're
which
down.
was down from the high of 10.5.
Yeah, so they're down right now, which is good. Because you really, so that's the one part of it, right? The other part of it is if you really want to attack the RMT side of things, if you really want to attack the botters, whether it has to do with the I know what's here and we're watching it and we're pulling that game data out and we're feeding it back to Discord so people can see it and know. Like, while I really don't like that either, I think that's like the smallest subset of things that's a problem, right? I think that's not as, you can overcome that. There's ways to get around it. There's ways to counter it. You can't overcome someone being able to know all of that and circumvent the, obviously the NetEase policies. And then, of course, on the botting side with the amount of RMTing and the money generation going, and then the speed at which their own industry happens inside of the game, you can't fight that. There's no way around that. That's a numbers game. That's pure bulk numbers. That's what we call, the Zerg effect, if you will. And there's no way to fight that without your own Zerg effect, in which case you just completely, melt the whole damn server. And there's no way to do that. There's no way to do that. One entity is going to have it, and nobody else is. That's just the way it goes. One's going to have that leapfrog. It's like the first person to get to general AI or past general AI to true AI, right? You're done at that at that point, theoretically. So if you really wanted to test, and this is where the clueless cloud comment comes in, Swee. God, what was that song? I wish I was a baller. I wish I was a foot taller. That song. It was by a guy named Swee in the '90s, wasn't it? Anyway, so if you really want to get rid of that stuff, if you really want to combat that stuff, then you have to make it economically not as viable for them to do. You don't have to put these other restrictions in the game. You don't have to try to, do the shit that was done like this Wednesday. It's really, really simple. And the bigger problem of all of it really comes in from the industrial side of the base of things and how nothing in this game ever disappears. Those are your two biggest issues. The industrial side of the game, i.e. insurance, and how nothing of value ever actually disappears in this game. And that's in part because of IP, but also just because of how the industrial base of the game is now geared. Those two things would take care of that side of the RMT up part of it way faster than any of the things that they're implementing right now. And I don't think it would hurt their bottom line the way that they think it would. In fact, I know it wouldn't. It would make people happy beyond belief. It'd make everybody happy beyond belief. It'd be painful at first, but it would make everybody pretty happy.
I mean, pain that's universal is pain that's universal.
Yeah.
The problem is what they're doing now is not. It's attempted to target, and they've shot like a stormtrooper.
Right.
Right?
You're killing everybody else around except for the target.
Except for the target. Exactly.
Except for the target.
And exactly. So, I mean, the other parallel is look over at EO. Look at EVE Online. Like, are there bots in EVE Online? Yeah, I'm sure there are. Do we hear about them at anywhere near the volume level we hear about them here?
No.
Not even close.
Well, okay, so
right?
There's multiple. There's some reasons for that, though, right? So that's where
True.
It comes into a problem on the coding side, the client side, and everything else. That's kind of difficult for NetEase to fight, which is it's on 15,000 different variations of devices, including emulators. It's not just on a PC that has a specific architecture because it's Windows whatever.
Well, I gotta counter that because it's two. It's two. It's really just two. It's Android and it's iOS. Right? Whether it's emulator or not, it's the same architecture. It's the same code base.
I guess you're
the
right.
only time
Yeah.
the code base works is iOS.
There it is. See, it is
which-
Ski. It is Ski. Skilo. I wish. I knew it. Damn it. I was about ready to look it up, too.
They're
knew
about
it.
one letter off, though.
You got no. He's got Ski. It's
Taylor off by one.
SKEE. He has Sweet. Damn it. All right. I'm
Yeah.
always off by one. One thing, whether it's a prop mod or fuel, that
Right.
one thing.
Sure.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That's the wrong
But yeah,
water.
so
Holy
I
shit.
mean, to say the whole cloud is stupid thing. It's like he's not stupid.
No,
I'm
he's
totally
not.
in that camp.
No, he's not.
I think ultimately the one of the core reasons we see this difference between EO and EE is that the metrics and goals of NetEase as an organization were fundamentally different than the primary goals of CCP when they launched. Now, some of the things NetEase did were frankly very, very smart. I hate them, but very, very smart. Like the fact that estimated pricing is updated now every 2 weeks.
Very dumb.
But brilliant, because that's what almost killed EVE Online. If you go back in like the 2000s, right, early 2000s, late 99s, right, you can, I think they're still up. You can look at like the architecture posts and the things they had to do just to keep the market running at the transaction volume they were running it at. And a large chunk of that was because pricing, when you brought up an item, was live at all times. The estimated price was more or less the average of whatever formula they were running at the time. And they actually published it. They were very open about the economy in EO. But the computational power and databases that were required to do that every time somebody opened an item were painful.
Yeah.
They were like,
plus you also had price history where you could go back and actually see
yes.
price trends.
Yes. So they had all of this data, which had to be at a fingertip away from 30, 40, 50,000 clients connecting at a time, I think, back in those days, right? The database server was redonkulous. The damn thing was pretty much, it didn't have hard drives, which is what you had back in the days. SSDs didn't really exist yet. It was basically we're going to put these other boxes with a whole bunch of RAM in it and run everything off of RAM because nothing else is even close to fast enough.
Yep, I remember them doing that. I remember that.
Yes.
Yep.
Crazy. So then he said, well, let's hold a minute. So instead of spending $50, $60, $70,000 a day at Amazon for these massive database servers, let's just compute it every time we bring the servers down, or once a week when we do a patch, and just compute it once, and here you go. And instant tens of thousands of dollars savings. Sure. Brilliant. I hate it.
Sure.
I tolerated it when it was a week apart. I hate it at 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, it kills me. It just kills me. Now,
because it's useless.
It is useless. So they just don't even need to do it. They just don't even need to do it, honestly, because it's useless. But keep in mind, because I have people telling me this all the time, and they're flat out wrong. What your IP amount and what your whatever that IP amount is based off of when you're going to get a ship back is not based off of estimated pricing.
I don't think it's directly based off of it, but I think there's it uses some of that data. It's all server-side calculations, so I don't know. It's black box.
Yeah, there's no way to know for sure, but it doesn't appear.
But it's certainly not live pricing, and it's certainly not in the database.
No, it's not. It's not based off of that same estimated number. Otherwise, you would see like a Marzio be like $30.
Right.
So.
Right. I think
it's
there's
based
some
off of the manufacturing prices chained, yes, but where does it get the manufacturing prices from? If you add up all the materials, right? Does it come from the estimated value of all those materials, the intermediate mats, or anything else? No, it can't, because those prices are off. Then you go back and look at kill mills and how you can go kill a Noctis 2 that has $14 worth of stuff in it, but somehow the kill mill is only worth $3.
Right. But the tail wagging the dog is these prices update at the same time estimated prices do.
Right.
So clearly there's some correlation, but it's far from one-to-one. I'm totally with you on that one.
Correct. Yeah, so it's really odd. I don't know what's going on there with that part of it, and we won't know that unless the devs just basically tell us. There's no way to. There's no math that works out. It's worse than NetEase math, where there's like rounded stuff that's in there and you can't figure it out. There's no way to know. So, but it's weird and it's off. Okay. Anything else on this botting side? Damon from you, Rambo from you, Juby from you. Any other questions in the audience on this before we move to the next thing?
Botting.
Yeah.
I'll go first.
Rambo's gonna go first. Go.
Juby.
All right.
Juby. I know we all want to talk at the same time, but yeah, I was listening to Daroz, and it reminded me of a few things too that I didn't realize, and I especially didn't report on it in previous episodes when I was talking about the botting and the issues and the cams and all that type of stuff is on the back end type of stuff, and I had classified it into effort, right? I think this patch, the latest patch, and the things that they're doing to the game is to get rid of a lot of the low effort people. And then of course there's going to be some people that are going to either evolve with that, with their cam systems and all that type of stuff. And then obviously then you have people that are more black hat and are doing the game API type of cam botting. So like it's a lot of, it's just like, you can't really do too much about that. So a lot of this update was getting rid of the low effort stuff. But then I was also reminded too, is there was some talk about the 300 cams on a single computer. Now I remember back in the day, there's some people that I know that have made a lot of spy accounts, and at the time there was a limit on IP usage, not IP as in insurance points, but your internet provider
Right.
would put a limit as to how many characters you can have. And that, I think, is on the NetEase side, not necessarily your internet provider side, as to how many characters you can have on a certain IP address. And so I don't know, that just seems a bit weird. Like I said, I was reminded of that, but this was also, again, like 3 years
can
ago
talk to
when
that.
I heard of that. And so, yeah,
That did exist for a little while and then was very quickly removed when they realized, I think it was Sprint at the time, was doing carrier grade NAT and funneling like most of the Northeast, connecting back to Amazon through a very small series of IP addresses. And so, and you'll see this sometimes in foreign countries. You'll see carrier grade NAT and so you'll get hundreds to thousands of houses on a very small, and by small, I'm talking like 10 or 15 IP addresses. The other side of that is those that need to use VPNs to get in, like of late our Russian friends, or those in mainland China who are actually trying to connect out of the Great Firewall have to come in through VPNs. So that's another instance where you're going to have truly multiple people appearing from the same IP address.
right.
Yeah, I don't think that's
So,
a solution.
yeah,
I don't think that's a way around it. I think Tiger Mall was asking before. Hey, Tiger, how you doing, man? Was asking what's the solution, and the answer is there isn't one. There is
Right.
no there
Yeah.
is no out of game solution. I'll put it that way. There is an in game.
There's no panacea.
Yeah, no. There's an in game solution to it, but there's no out of game.
So
solution.
that's all I had. Thanks, Daroz.
No problem.
Juby, your turn. I'll just do it in order so we don't
All right.
all over each other.
Right.
Yes. So the next day when the patch happened, I already heard reports of our scouts seeing cloaky manticore ships that
Sure.
cloak automatically when hostile enters the system and keep on reporting whatever is happening in there. So, okay, the pods are gone, but now they're cloaky manticores. But yeah, next
Yeah,
day,
those are intermediate
already.
pods upgrading.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The advanced ones just don't care. They're still pods sitting on gates in AOA space.
Right. Or sitting in the station. They don't even have to undock anymore.
Right. Well, they sit in space so they can rattle off what the ship type is and what guns you have, because believe it or not, your client knows to some degree what guns you have because it's got to draw the graphic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there's a lot
I
of
think
information
you
that
can't
actually
even
comes
see.
out.
You can't see the guns in Eve Echoes.
They're there
Like
though.
if you
Yeah.
if you look at the ships, you don't see any guns on them.
So one of the things NetEase has
Only
been
your
doing over the last 2 years a lot more is they've been following the Eve Echoes code, or the Eve Online code base, much more, and bringing in changes from Eve Online into Echoes. Because we could see it, because we'd see like what was their first person shooter thing that they had done
Vanguard.
integrated into Eve Online.
Vanguard.
Vanguard, that's what it was.
Echoes.
Vanguard source code
Yeah.
is in Echoes.
It's in Echoes. Yeah. That's a good
Why?
thing.
I couldn't tell you,
Well, I know why.
but it's there.
I know why.
Right.
So that's an easy one to explain without even having to think about it for very long. And it's actually a good thing, right? They've made a lot of really good changes in the background over the last 2 years. They really have, despite all the other shit that we're talking here. And I think there's been some very positive improvements for a lot of different things. They still aren't focusing on like what I call the core thing, because they clearly don't see it as the core problem the way that I do, and that's fine. It's their business. The game's purring along, they're making money, so whatever. But the reason it's there is exactly what you just alluded to. They're injecting EVE Online code into EVE Echoes to try to get it more in line or operate more in line with what EVE Online does. And while they do that, they're lazy and they're grabbing code packets that have to do with other things that maybe they're never going to implement here, because how in the hell would you implement Vanguard here?
Right.
But it's there and it gets pulled along and it gets just sucked in with it. And you can see that same type of thing happens with EVE Online itself, CCP, when they go and create Galaxy Conquest or whatever Galaxy Quest. It's a comedy that game's got comedic value, so it's like Galaxy Quest. Or even with Eve Frontier, where if you go and you play it, you realize that oh my God, that little thing of verbiage they put in there is talking about Minmatar. There's no Minmatar in this game. There's no factions in this game. None of that stuff exists. Why does this look just like a graphic from EO? Because they took base pared down at its very finest and stuck it over into Eve Frontier and built on top of that with their blockchain stuff. So, which I give it shit.
I gotta say,
it's an
Frontier,
interesting
which is why when you still to this day in this in Cycle 5 right now, when you do kill some of these NPC wrecks that have nothing to do with EVE Online, it will come up as Sancha wreck or Mimitar wreck because they did take like the wreck file directly from EVE Online and put it into it. I mean, it's the same team. At least it wasn't handed off to another production studio. It's still CCP, but they didn't draw everything from scratch. They are taking from their 20-year library.
But it's how hard though? How hard is it though to just do a Control F or whatever, find all, replace? Like, it's not.
Oh yeah, no, completely. Well, the only saving grace is at least the one game is an alpha, whereas this game where Eve Echoes is
5 years.
in its 10th year of production. Yeah, right.
I know.
I mean, the other thing about the Foundation or whatever, their new one is, they made a very major architecture shift with it, right? Everything that we've been playing up until the last major engine change where they forced us to upgrade all the clients, we were running the same engine EO has been running and whatnot for 20-something years. It was Python 2 stackless Python. Okay.
Now it's Carbon.
And that means nothing to anybody except for the fact that it's 25 years old. Okay. And NetEase has went and what I suspect taken the beta EO Python 3 code and brought it to the client, which is what the new Eve game is using with the Bitcoin or blockchain and all that stuff. They're all using, and they rewrote it into Python 3 so that they're not on this 25-year-old architecture that's been end of life for 12, 13, 14 years, I think. And then did a major re-architecture of the foundation. It's like the footing of the building has been completely redone. It's the same facade, but all your foundations have been repoured.
Yeah.
And so that's a substantial maneuver to do that. So the fact that like when I first played it, when it first opened up in the beta and the NDA was up and all that stuff, your ship was literally a block in space. I'm like, I'll forgive that because I know the architecture that they had to do and the things they had to go to move from Python 2 stackless to Python 3. That is not fun for a programmer that is you're just looking at hell on earth every day. So I give them a lot of that for that. And I mean, if you've got 20 plus years of IP, I mean, a little copy paste action to get to the point where it's playable.
Understandable.
I'm very forgiving of that,
All right, so we are almost 50 minutes into a 1-hour show, and we've got one more topic to talk about. So before we get into our last topic, Juby, was there anything else you wanted to say? I think you're the last one to go here.
Damon,
No,
I think Damon had a comment too.
I remember 10 years ago when EVE Online, they started to talk that they have to do the coding for the game, like rewrite the whole code, because they could not do skins or any fancy things to upgrade the game anymore. So yeah, and now Python 3 you can do mobile games also. Maybe, I don't know. But yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we didn't cover patch notes today. I probably won't talk about them. Well, I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so Damon, was there any last comment from you before we move to the last topic?
No, the only thing I was going to say was I've always been a advocate for no botting in the game, especially when NetEase brought it in for a paid version of it through the nanocores. So I 100% always been, against botting in whatever form.
Yeah.
So that's all I have to say.
Okay, awesome. So last topic of the game, the splash screen. What the hell is it?
I don't know. I think our EO people, Equinox update people, can probably inform us on that.
It's got nothing to do with
I
EO.
think it's some
got
kind of
nothing to do with.
structure.
It's got nothing to do with Equinox either. In the update from EO, that is, I mean, yeah, you can look at that and look and think to yourself that is that Equinox Upwell Consortium, whatever the hell that thing was, the Skyhook that they called it. That's not the Skyhook. That's what Mario just said. It's Eve 2.0. There's a game they released in China that NetEase released that's literally called Eve 2.0. That's its nomenclature, but I think it's something like the Ember Seas or something.
Right.
And it looks like a mash between the Galaxy Quest game that CCP put out.
Oh God.
And Eve Echoes itself. And it even has those same colorings on the map that shows on our map right there. But it's a completely different map. It's all the stuff we talked about at the end of the year last year, honestly. Yeah, Ember Seas.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
not
discussed it.
We talked about
Is the
it
Ember
last year.
Seas? Is this basically where they had the screenshots of like it looked like Eve Gotcha with the SSR ships and shit like that?
Yeah, that's what that game is. That they released in May in China. They finally released it. That's what that game is. It's a separate game. And I have no idea why they're using this as the screenshot for Eve Echoes. I don't know if they're going to use some sort of crossover thing with it. I don't know if the screenshot is really just a placeholder before we get to the anniversary between the Tigo biddies and now, because people were so upset about it and they just said throw us in a nice screenshot and there you go. I doubt that's the case, but that was my first thought because I'm looking at it and I'm thinking that's freaking Ember Seas bullshit, which is a completely different game. But it can also be, unfortunately, a game within a game. So I don't know if there's going to be like a mini game that they're going to launch for the anniversary that's inside of Echoes that mirrors some of this kind of shit. Now, if you remember back in August of last year, maybe it was September, August for the anniversary, we thought we were going to get tactical cruisers. Remember that?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
And then they scrapped it. But the way that those tactical cruisers was going to work was you've still got a cruiser that you have right now, which you can add, obviously, your fittings to. Then you can add a nanocore to. Then you can gold nanocore it. Then you can add GUs to it. Then you can have an implant, or you have the implant with your GUs, right? And so you can do all those things layered on top of your cruiser, your battleship, whatever ship. And the tactical cruisers that they were going to come out with, which I thought was going to be the tactical cruisers from EVE Online, turned out were going to be more like the tactical cruisers that they were proposing to do inside of this Ember Sea thing, which is on top of everything I just listed. Now you have an actual, what I'll call a fitting side of this, where, I've got my cruiser and I've got everything fitted onto it, but I can upgrade that now as well, not just by going from like a T3, module or a T4 module, but I can inject things into it and make it do other things. I can make it better. Not ammo into a gun, but we're talking about like increasing its efficiency by adding other things into it. But then when you die, you lose all that. So yet another way to push up essentially the DPS side of every ship in the game, right? They were going to do this to make 150 variations. So you would have just layers upon layers of all of these upgrades. But then of course when you die, you lost all of it. So they scrapped all of that because of the uproar that they had when they were releasing it in China and never released it here. But they actually released it on the Chinese Eve Echo server and then backpedaled and pulled it out because of the total uproar over it. So here we are again full circle.
It was like a test server.
Right. Here we are again full circle. They went ahead and made it a separate game in May that they released from NetEase. And now we're seeing that here for whatever reason on our splash screen. That's what that splash screen's all about. What that means, how that plays out.
Do you think timing is a thing too? Because say they just wanted to change it and they're just using old footage that's like over a year old.
Well, I mean, here's the splash screen that's on the Eve 2.0 right now in China. There it is. May 22nd launch.
Same thing.
The official thing. It's the exact same screen that they're using here.
Yeah.
God
And
damn.
just a note too, I posted the link for the Eve 2.0 update on the evem163.com. That page will have to be translated, but it had a number of features in there that we thought were quite intriguing. You know, like piloting ships and how they switched up the regions, all that type of stuff. It released October 31st, 2024. That article.
Here's the video of that game, by the way. I won't play it here over the thing or whatever, but there's the video of what that game actually looks like. And you can see that map, but not only the splash screen, obvious, clear, right? But you can see all the stuff we're talking about in terms of how that gameplay is from that video. Now, there's some cool shit in there. So,
Is there audio on it?
There is audio. Well, it's music. I can play it, I guess. I don't know
Okay.
if it'll come through on the audio, but there's some
oh,
cool shit in
There
here.
we go. I muted it.
Yeah. So you look at what the material looks like and what the material looks like.
Okay, yeah,
with the
I remember
update.
this.
Yeah. I mean,
We've talked about this.
That looks cool as shit.
The rattlesnake looks really good too.
Right. And so then
The
you
way
have your
they updated that.
succubus, and then your succubus gets upgraded and looks like, I don't know if that's an upgrade or they're just redesigning it or what, but the way they talked about it last year was these are the upgrades you can make to your own ship or add-ons and things to your own ship to make them look like that. So
The one thing I will say is in that video with the new skins, is a lot more detailing you can see in the newer versions.
Yes. Well, it's different. There's different. It's not just detailing, but there's added things to it. Like it's a different model. Strap-on ships. Yes. Yep. Exactly. Cool. Exactly. I mean, look at the change. That's a completely different model on this one. For the Cyclone. I'm watching it on the actual stream, the recording. So
and as you get,
I don't know what the hell this base is. This base means nothing.
Yeah. It looks like an upgraded Jita, basically, where it's showing the actual Titans docked into it.
Yeah, and I don't know what this clip is with the map or whatever. Maybe the visualizations are going to change or something. But I mean, I am all for some updates to the ships. I'm all for an update and improvement to the graphics of it. I'm all for all that. I think that's cool. The graphics department in this game is never been beaten until they got beaten by Tigo Biddies. But I don't know what this structure is. There's that structure again. I don't know what that one.
Yeah, what is that thing?
It looks like it's piercing the sun. So it does kind of look like the supposed Upwell Skyhook thing from EO, but it's not. It's from this. It's whatever the hell they're doing in this game. So, and then here's your lineup of ships, and it's just kind of. I don't know.
Could this be our anniversary update?
And there's your map. There's your Could this be our anniversary update? Now, what they're doing with this map and all this weird shit in the map, I'll take a screenshot of that. I missed it. Fuck. It looks stupid. And then of course, in that game, they've changed up the actual fighting mechanics too.
Yeah, to where you could pilot.
Yep. And then it shows you all these upgrade structures on your ship and everything else. I mean, if they were to implement that into this game completely as they're showing it in this video, it would change the entire game. Like this wouldn't even be the same game. Everything would have to change, and I don't think they can actually physically do that. So this is either some sort of crossover between the two to promote their new game, or there's some updates from that game coming here, and they wanted to use the splash screen. I don't know.
If it was that game, I wonder how resource heavy all those changes would make it. Would it be a new bloated client, especially on the mobile side?
I don't know.
What kind of you need to have like a good machine to run something so beautiful.
What's that one from? Is that from the where's that? Yeah, but I mean that's from what though? Just someone making that? That looks like someone custom made that.
Is that DDR? Is that DDR animation?
Mario, is that really you, or are you DDR? That's funny.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody.
Even then, he's elevated his.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's where that screenshot comes from.
Interesting.
Yeah, comes from that. And at this point, any more information? Nobody knows. That's all I got. We're at an hour. I got to run.
All right.
Anything else you guys want to say?
Well, that definitely was the juice.
Yeah, and it was worth the squeeze. We
Yeah.
packed it all into 60 minutes.
Wow.
60
Crazy.
minutes.
Damn.
We're going to be gone, Damon. We're done. That's exactly how I said that, J. Cool. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for coming. Appreciate it. Great show. We packed it all in 1 hour. I know there was patch notes this week, and somebody wants to talk about it. If obviously Rambo, you can do whatever you want to do, but I'm going to end the YouTube stream here. If you want to play like a quick outro, I'll save that. I'll post that, and I got to get back to all the other things I have to do on the weekend. So,
all right.
Good
I'm
talking
going
to
to call
you
it
guys.
too because I still have things to do as well.
Yep.
And nice having you. Thank you, Daroz, for coming on the show as well and talking with us about some of that stuff.
Yeah, that was great.
And as well as Juby and Damon. Nice seeing you. And thanks to all the audience that had joined us for today's episode. And we'll keep on keeping on. We'll see you next time.
All right. See you guys. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.